My group today is going to be covering behavioral theory, and we're going to be focusing on the behavioral therapy, that does come from behavioral theory. And basically, behavioral therapy was introduced in the 1950s, and it was introduced by B.F. Skinner. And basically, what his focus was, or what he strived to incorporate, is that psychoanalytic approaches were overly focused on the internal part of the individual, and they were not giving enough attention to the external part, which is the environment. He believed that we cannot observe or directly change the internal part of the individual, and so therefore we should focus on the external factors, which are, of course, the behaviors that impact you because of your environment. And he believed that these things can in fact be observed, and they can in fact be changed directly, which is, your objective and subjective behavior. Or environment, if I should say. And so basically, their main focus was, as I mentioned, to concentrate on the immediate problem and not so much on the client's psychological history. They believed that if you change the environment, the person will change as well. That there is no need to understand their psychological traumas or background, that just by teaching them new techniques, positive behavior, and changing the environment, that, the person can become a different person. And so from here derived overcorrection. And overcorrection is a technique that is mostly preferred to be used in the classroom setting with younger children, elementary level, and also with individuals that face intellectual challenges. Basically, overcorrection, what it does is it helps the individual replace negative behavior with more acceptable, more appropriate behavior. So, for example, if a child is exhibiting resistant behavior, which is something that it might be a behavior, or it needs to be a behavior that isn't appropriate. So then basically the teacher or the therapist would bring this behavior to attention. So as soon as the bad behavior occurs, then the client or child is taught the appropriate way of behaving. And then once the client is taught the appropriate way of behaving, then that behavior is asked to be repeated over and over, but in an exaggerated manner. In other words, to help the client internalize the appropriate response instead of the negative response. And the demonstration that we're going to provide for you is a small clip of, what overcorrection technique is, which, as I mentioned, it's just reinstating inappropriate behavior with appropriate behavior, and repeating that appropriate behavior in an exaggerated form so that it replaces the negative way of thinking and behaving. Okay, and our demonstration is going to be provided by myself and by Isaac. Thank you.